Hello and welcome to the Positive Mindset Tribe, a refreshing and empowering podcast on how to become a magnet for love, abundance, and joy. And as you have probably guessed, it all starts with your mindset. I am your host, Verónica Moreno, a mindset coach, therapist, and energy healer, and my mission is to share with you my most powerful tips, psychological tools, energy healing techniques, so you can manifest the joyful, meaningful, and successful life you deserve. Are you ready for your weekly dose of motivation, confidence, and empowerment? Let's get started. Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of the Positive Mindset Tribe. This episode is going to be all about the inner child, which is beautiful, powerful, and transformational work that can help you feel more balanced, more at peace. It can help with anxiety, with mood swings, especially if you tend to get very strong emotional reactions and you don't understand why. And it can help you just get a deeper sense of well-being, of joy and fulfillment. In this episode, I'm going to be covering what the inner child is and why it is so important to listen to that part of ourselves, how to heal the wounds of the inner child, but also how to unleash the inner treasures of the inner child, the innocence, playfulness, and that creativity that we should never lose. And at the end, I'm going to be sharing some really effective techniques to integrate the beauty of the inner child. But before we start, there are a couple of things I want to mention. So after this episode, the next few episodes, I'm going to be delving into the topic of relationships, which is huge. So I want to know if you have any questions that you would like me to cover, that you would like me to answer. So please email me at hello@veronica-moreno.com to see if you have any questions or any specific topics about relationships that you would like me to cover. Relationships has always been a huge topic for me to work on. And although I just got married and in a few weeks I will be going on our honeymoon and I've done a lot of work and come a long way to be able to enjoy a beautiful, nurturing, fulfilling and authentic relationship. And I'm not only going to be talking about romantic relationships, but with friends, with family. So relationships have always been a real challenge for me. So I have a lot to share, but I don't think I can cover everything I want to share in one episode. So it will be more of a mini series. So please reach out and let me know what you would like me to cover. And another thing, I'm offering some free clarity sessions for anyone who wants to work deeper on shifting their mindset, healing and letting go of any subconscious programming, and wants to manifest an abundant life full of love, joy, and success in alignment with your soul's purpose. So if that sounds like you, go to my website, veronica-moreno.com to book yours. I will also leave a link in the show notes. I've been getting great feedback about these sessions, which are free of charge, so make the most of them while they're still available. Now, let's get started with today's topic, the inner child. First things first, what is the inner child? I like to think about the inner child as that part of ourselves that carries our essence, that part of ourselves that is pure, innocent, authentic, before the programming from parenting and schooling starts. It is that part of ourselves that is full of creativity, playfulness, that has all those unique talents to you. Now, very often what happens is that as we grow up, we get hurt. Actually, I don't know anyone who has never been hurt, who has never been scared or sad or has only experienced joy. And this is fine because this is what life is about, learning and overcoming challenges. And if our lives were perfect, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't learn. So the inner child, alongside all those treasures I mentioned at the beginning, that part of ourselves can carry also the pain, the fear, the sadness, the trauma of those painful experiences that we all face at some point in our life. And that's how we absorb a lot of programming and limiting beliefs from our parents or other parental figures, from school, from society. And some of them maybe were useful at some point to survive or to protect ourselves. But as adults, they're no longer serving us. And this is where all that disempowering self-talk comes from, with all those messages like, you're not important, you're a failure, you don't deserve this or that. And it's important that we take some time to understand and to assess these programs, these beliefs. So when the inner child, that part of ourselves, carries strong emotions from the wounds of the past, what happens is that as adults, sometimes a random situation might cause a very strong emotional reaction, and that is just the inner child being triggered and needing some attention. That's all that is. So let me share one example about myself. My dad left when I was a teenager, and for many years I carried within me a very deep abandonment wound. So in relationships, romantic relationships or friendships or with family, I was always very, very alert of any signs that might indicate a risk of them leaving me. And if I perceived any signs or any minimal threat, my inner child would get very, very triggered, and I will feel terrified about being abandoned again, about being rejected. So obviously, when this happened, I had no idea that this was what was going on. I just thought the love was difficult, the love hurts, and I see clearly now that I have healed that part of my inner child, and I can see things with perspective. But at that time, I was so confused and so frustrated, and I was just going through so much drama and pain, so much unnecessary drama and pain, just because I wasn't understanding that there was a part of me, that my inner child was just terrified and it just needed a bit of love and a bit of healing and a lot of attention. But because I had no idea, I was so frustrated and yeah, I just thought that I was going crazy and maybe I'm just a dramatic person, or so every time you experience a strong emotional reaction, know that you're not going crazy, that you're not just a dramatic person, that there is nothing wrong with you. It is just that the situation might have triggered some fear or sadness or anger in your inner child. Now, what do we do about it? How do you heal the inner child? Well, imagine if you're a mother, imagine one of your kids comes to you feeling sad or scared, or if you don't have kids, just think of one of your nephews or any just random kid that you find adorable, right? So imagine a little kid coming to you and saying that they're angry, that they're scared, that they feel sad. They're just looking for some attention. What would you do? I want you to take a few seconds just to think about how you would help them. Would you hug them? Maybe walk with them, hand in hand? Would you reassure them? Would you tell them that they're safe, that you're here for them? Maybe you will tell them some positive things about them, to boost their confidence a little bit. So I'm sure these ideas came to most of you. But overall, I know you would treat them with love, with compassion and kindness, right? So whatever you decide to do, you would approach them with a loving, kind, compassionate attitude, So, well, there you go. The same thing you would do for another child. That's what you need to do with your inner child, with that part of yourself. That's how you need to treat yourself. That's how you need to treat that part of yourself, with that love, with that compassion and that kindness that you would use with others. And I know this is easier said than done, of course, but honestly, having that inner dialogue with your inner child can be extremely healing, extremely powerful. And many problems like lack of self-confidence, like mood swings, lacking self-belief or self-worth, even deep anxiety situations and experiences can be solved by doing work with the inner child, by integrating the inner child. I have seen this again and again in my clients. A lot of times, that thing that we call anxiety or trauma, or having a big problem that it sounds very overwhelming and something that can't be solved because it looks like such a big problem, it can be solved or improved massively doing work with the inner child. Just understanding that part of yourself that is being triggered, that just needs a bit of attention, that maybe was hurt before and now is scared of being hurt again, and that's why it reacts like that, and that's why you're being triggered. So at the end of the episode, I'm going to be sharing some specific techniques that you can use to heal the inner child. But I just wanted to describe the idea first. Because although healing the wounds of the inner child is extremely important, and by the way, when this work is done properly with the right guidance and within a safe space, it is really beautiful work, and it doesn't need to be scary. Because I've met a lot of people that when they hear about the inner child, or maybe, you know, situations from the past, they're like, oh no, I don't want to talk about it, it's going to be so painful and it's going to be terrible. But actually releasing that, not releasing that, it's what it's painful. You know. So yes, inner child, when you have an inner dialogue with your inner child and you visualize your inner child, it can be very emotional. Actually, when I lead meditations or when I do workshops around the inner child, yes, most people cry, definitely. Even now, myself, after having done, I don't know, more than 10 years of personal development and healing, if I do work with the inner child and I do a deep visualization, for example, or if I go deep within and have a deep, authentic dialogue with my inner child, I will probably end up crying. And that's beautiful, because that's just energy being released. You know, we're so scared of crying and we're so scared of showing up emotions, but it's so liberating, it's so releasing. And sometimes it's just tears of happiness, of, you know, of wow, this is so beautiful. And you just get emotional because you're just finding the work so beautiful and treating that part of yourself so nicely that it's like, wow, this is incredible. So yeah, so don't think that is scary, that is painful. It can be really, really, really beautiful work. Back to my point, which is that although healing the wounds of the inner child, it's super important and needed, I see a lot of people who focus only on healing the inner child and clearing, removing the beliefs, going back to past experiences, which is necessary, but we can't forget that the inner child also carries the inner treasures. All those inner treasures are essence, and we also need to do active work to fully integrate these treasures so we can make the most of our talents, of our skills, our essence, our unique skills that we came to this world to share. So I see people like gardens. So in your garden, yes, you need to do the weeding first, because otherwise nothing is going to grow if the garden is full of weeds, which will be the healing, clearing part of the inner child work. But if you only do the weeding, if you don't put any energy on planting new seeds and watering those seeds and nurturing those seeds, you're not going to see any plants or any flowers blossoming. Nothing is going to grow. You're going to have a very clean garden, free of weeds, but nothing else. It's going to be empty. Nothing is going to grow. So again, how do we do this? One of the things that I'm going to suggest for you to integrate the treasures of the inner child is that you spend some time thinking about what you enjoyed doing as a child, what you wanted to be. When you were in your element, in your zone, what were you doing? What would make you lose track of time? What were your dreams? What was your vision of the world? And if you don't remember, you can even ask your parents or siblings. It can really give you some valuable information. Because when we are kids, we don't think about what we are supposed to do. We just do whatever feels natural. So maybe you wanted to be a ballerina, but your parents told you that you wouldn't make any money. And so you ended up becoming a lawyer, and you feel so frustrated because you find it so boring and it's not aligned with your calling, with your soul. Or maybe you understood that dancing was something bad, or painting, or doing karate, or I don't know, whatever it was that you enjoyed doing, and maybe you learned that it was something negative, that it was something useless, and therefore you stop doing it, and you're missing an essential part of yourself. And I think as we grow up, we become way too serious, and we forget that life is not about just surviving and struggling and going from one challenge to another. Life is also about flowing. Life is also about doing activities that brings us joy, pleasure, those hobbies that make us disconnect from the world, that help us stay in the here and now, is so important. And sometimes as a kid, this is what comes naturally to us, and that's what we would do naturally. But because maybe an adult told us that was wrong, that was silly, we learned that it wasn't good, and we just stopped doing it, and that's like killing an essential, authentic part of ourselves. So I would definitely spend some time reflecting on what your natural skills were, what you enjoyed doing. Even look at some pictures to refresh your memory, and add more of these activities to your life. So like I said, we have to do the healing and the clearing. We have to do the weeding, but we also have to plant the seeds. It's also about a self-discovery journey when we go within and we relearn. Sometimes it's about relearning what we enjoyed doing, what our essence is, what natural talents, what brings us joy, right? Right. So another thing I want to share with you in this episode is some very practical, effective techniques to integrate the beauty of the inner child. So with regards to healing the inner child, every time you experience a strong emotional trigger, go to a quiet place, close your eyes, and imagine you're talking to your inner child. That part of yourself that might feel a bit wounded, a bit hurt, a bit scared, a bit sad, a bit angry, and visualize her with as many details as you can. And just have a dialogue with her. Just ask her, how is she feeling, what she needs from you. Tell her some comforting words. So let it be a dialogue. Talk back to her, say something nice to her. Give her some love. Visualize yourself giving her a hug, or just being with her, just being present, just acknowledging her. Maybe that's all she needs, to be acknowledged, to be with someone. And you can do this not only in the situations where you have a strong emotional reaction, but you can do this every day before going to bed, which I would really suggest if you feel called to do this work. Because most likely, if you have a strong emotional reaction, probably you're not going to remember that you heard in this podcast that what you need to do is go to a quiet place and close your eyes and talk to your inner child. Very likely, you're going to forget. So make it a habit, do this every day. I think before going to bed is a great time to give yourself a bit of love and calm down any emotions that might have come up during the day. Just to go to bed in a more balanced, connected way, and it will help you sleep better. And if you are consistent, you're going to feel much more balanced in general, much more connected to yourself. You're going to feel at peace. It is so beautiful to connect with the inner child. It is transformational work, honestly. You're going to see so many results. And yeah, you might get emotional, especially at the beginning, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, So whatever, just allow the body to process it, If tears come up, let them flow. Maybe that's what the body needs to release, all those accumulated emotions or energies. Let the body do what it needs to do. The body is wise, So don't be afraid of it. It's beautiful, beautiful work. And like I said, the other side of the coin would be to unleash that creativity and playfulness of your inner child. So spend some time bringing those memories back and start doing more activities that bring you joy. Really water those seeds, nurture those seeds. Do more activities that bring you joy. Go to a dance or painting workshop where you can channel your creativity. And this will bring you so much joy and fulfillment. And the same way you can have an inner dialogue with your inner child, and ask her how she feels and what she needs from you. You can also have a dialogue. You can also close your eyes, visualize your inner child, and have a dialogue with her and just ask her what she feels like doing, what lights up her heart. Ask her what she needs. What she needs you to do, what she needs more often, what makes her smile, and just talk to her. Just talk to her and practice, and add some more activities that bring you joy. Please, please, please remember that life it shouldn't be a struggle. If life is all a struggle, there's something that you need to clear. That's not what life is supposed to be. Yes, there will be challenges. We all face challenges to learn, to keep growing. Yes, we go through unpleasant situations, but in general, life should feel like it's flowing. There should be that element of joy, of happiness, of smiling. Those moments that keep you in the here and now. When you lose track of time and you take the time and it's like, oh my God, I've been 2 hours reading this book, or I've been 2 hours doing this, or going for a walk, or painting, or crocheting, or whatever it is that you like, right? But definitely add more of those activities to your life. And if you have to diarize it, if you have to put it in your diary to make time to play, to do activities that bring you joy, to talk to your inner child, do it. Make an appointment with yourself, because it is so important to, like I said, like planting those seeds and nurturing those seeds and integrating. That's how you can integrate that creativity, all those positive traits that you had when you're a kid. And sometimes we forget about them because we're told that that's silly, that that's not good, that that's not going to take us anywhere. But at the end of the day, it's our essence. So yeah, obviously there are lots of things to do in life, but there always has to be time for joy and to play and just to be in the moment, And finally, third thing, this is a gift for you. I know that inner child work is not the easiest thing to do on your own. I get that. And actually, I recommend that if you feel strongly like doing some work with the inner child, you do it in a professional, safe space, because it can be emotional, it can be triggering. So I would recommend that you do it with someone, not on your own. But for anyone who wants to try, or to start doing this inner work, I have recorded a beautiful guided healing meditation for you, which is going to be in my YouTube channel. Also, I am a teacher on Insight Timer, so you will also find my healing meditations there. But anyway, I will leave a link to this meditation in the show notes. So it is a healing meditation where you are going to be fully embracing and integrating your inner child. So we're going to do exactly what I said, but in a guided in a deep guided meditation, in a meditative state that is gonna allow you to integrate, to release, and to achieve that transformation. It is a powerful one, so I would recommend that when you do it, or you save some space or some time, after doing the meditation, just to center, to take some time for yourself, maybe to make yourself cozy, make sure that you can, if you want to lie down under a blanket or have a cup of tea. So don't do this meditation and rush to work or to a dinner with friends. I wouldn't advise you to do that. But anyway, it's there for you to use it whenever you need. Okay, my loves, I guess I can only say thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the Positive Mindset Tribe. As always, that's everything from me that I wanted to cover in this episode. Please feel free to reach out with any question. A reminder to book one of the free clarity sessions that I'm offering at the moment before I go away on my honeymoon in, I think, less than 3 weeks now. I'm so excited. Especially if you have any questions or want to go deeper in your healing the inner child work or embracing your inner child. This is something I do all the time with my clients. It is essential work, I think, for anyone who's looking to improve themselves, to develop themselves, or to do some healing. It is essential, and it is beautiful work when done in a safe container, with the guidance of a professional, and in that safe space, in that safe container. It is beautiful, transformational, and powerful work. So I will leave a link in the show notes for you to book that free clarity session. Also, remember to send me your questions about relationships, as I will be recording a mini series on how to have conscious, healthy, fulfilling relationships for the next few episodes. And I know this is going to be this is a very demanded and popular topic. So let me know what you would like me to talk about. And just before we go, one favor to end. If you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe, give it a good review, and share it with your loved ones. Bring more people to the Positive Mindset Tribe. Okay, my love, thank you so much for being here. With much love and light. See you next week. Bye-bye.